How's it, pilots? Today we're going to learn about how to get our Mockingbird NewBeeDrone Mockingbird version 3 upgraded to Betaflight 4.0 and higher, and also run the newest of Mockingbird Project Mockingbird's programming of version 4. As you can see, currently I am running Betaflight 4.06 with Mockingbird Free Sky US target. Now, this target and everything is in beta right now, so it's not really open to the public. But what I will show you how to do is how to get it to 4.05 and the differences. This will also work for 4.01. So, things you want to see is like you see here, you always want to make sure that you're in a props out configuration and that it says brushed, and that your PWM frequency is at 25,000. Your throttle is at 1050, maximum 2000, and your minimum command is 1000. Make sure those are always correct. You're gonna see me go back there often just to make sure that those don't change. So right now we're going to NewBeeDrone's site. You're gonna look for the flight controller, and with that flight controller camera set, that is where you'll find your targets for 4.05. They just opened that up today to the public. So this will be the closest you can get to where I'm at right now. And we'll show you the differences and why you might want to go upgrade farther than what they're handing out to the public. And this is your basic page. On the page for that, you'll see 3.57, 401, and 405. 357 is the original one for Mockingbird, the Mockingbird version 3 settings. If you go to 401 or 405, you're going to click download like you just saw, and then hit OK. It'll do its download. Open that up. Now this is my dad's computer. He runs Windows. I run Mac. Betaflight runs like crap on Mac. I do not understand why they will not fix that. The program runs, but once you have it connected, everything goes haywire. So to be able to do this for you guys, I had to use my dad's computer. Sorry about that. But what I did is I moved it to a file that has all the rest of my Mockingbird stuff. As you can see, that's where I have my Betaflight configurator, different text files for both the gold and plaid motors. And we'll discuss that later in the video, the differences. So then you go back into Betaflight, disconnect, go to update firmware. You want to make sure you do a full chip erase and that your manual balm rate is at 256,000. It's already pre-selected, so you'll be fine. Hit load firmware. Then you'll go into wherever you have your file loaded at. That's where we dropped it in at. Hit open. And you want to come down here, hit flash firmware. Takes its time with this. My dad's computer is a little slow. Forgive me. Then you'll go to the CLI. Now all this that you're showing up is because I'm running a 4.06. Now we're going to Project Mockingbird's website. To find it, just put Project Mockingbird MBD, and it'll find it right away. Now there's two different pages. There's version 3. That's the one we're looking at now. If you like version 3, what you can do is upload version 3's settings. Now, just to warn you, there is a couple settings in version 3 because it's designed for a 3.5.7 that will not work for 4.05. I seem to have had better luck with it when I tried doing that with 4.01. So, but when you're in 4.05, especially for 4.06, a lot of the settings will not work in this. A whole new setting had to be remade. But we're gonna load this up so you can see what it looks like and how it goes. These are the basic things that you're the major changes that you're doing within it that we're looking at here. If you go down the page, you will see this. Now, if you see it says it's for version 3.5.4. We are not doing that. Do not copy those first couple of file lines. No, I went too far. I want to go down to the configuration where it says number save configuration. Copy all of that. And then just paste it right into the line. Hit enter. Now, you're going to see those red spots. This is a couple of the files that did not work. Now, they're not major. It will fly. And then you can manually go in there and do the settings. If you look on the page, it gives you step by step. What this did is made your work a lot less. So you're able to go in there and only change a couple things than having to change every single thing. But you can go back and take a look at where the settings are sitting at and what's going on with it. And these settings here is actually slightly different than what NewBeeDrone handed out when you bought the Mockingbird that's on their website. I found that these settings are a little bit more aggressive than what NewBeeDrone handed out. So what I was doing there was disconnecting it, first saving, disconnecting, and doing that whole thing. And I'm going back through and checking to make sure that my switches are set up correctly. And when you look on the page for Project Mockingbird, it shows you all that. It gives you a step-by-step thing. There's even a video by NewBeeDrone that tells you where everything's supposed to be set in Betaflight. But if you guys are here, I don't believe you're interested in seeing version 3. The reason why I'm showing this is mainly because some people don't want it so aggressive. They bought a bind and flight, and they kind of like having that air mode going. It eases things up, makes it easier for people to fly that are just starting out. And I believe that's part of the reason why NewBeeDrone is giving out that version more. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the main page of Project Mockingbird. Scroll down and you see Project Mockingbird version 4. Now make sure you click on the NBD BeeDrone Lite link. And what that's going to do is bring up all the setting changes and everything that they did for version 4. Now they talk about this thing being for 4.0. 4.0 didn't work out so well for the newbie drones. But 4.01, they had some things fixed. I found this program to work wonderful, or this setting to work wonderful with 4.01. It works awesome. I mean, it's very good with 4.05. What I'm seeing right now, and I still got some more test flights to want to do, but it's like this is mainly written for 4.06. Project Mockingbird is known to constantly keep changing the settings to keep it up to date for what Betaflight is doing. So what I'm going to go here is copy all of this. The whole entire thing. Even though this is written for a different Betaflight, it's alright with this one. It's not a big deal. And you'll see that. Copy. Get it back into your CLI command line. Paste it. Enter. See how that just loaded right up? Everything. Not a single red mark anywhere. It's taking it all. It's a perfect match. Then just type save and enter. Now we're disconnecting, disarming, reconnecting back into it. Go to my modes. This is so I can make sure that we are set up with the new mode settings. If you remember the old ones, you'll see that this is drastically different. And we go to PID tuning. And same with these, all these numbers. We got profile 3, rate profile 3. That's what you want to be selected on. Do not select something else. Be on those, especially your profile 3. Rate settings, you actually have 3 different rates that we're going to be doing. It natively goes to this. This is where I leave my Betaflight on, is profile 3, rate profile 3. So we can look through everything. And we make sure everything actually updated the way it is. I know this is going a little bit fast for you. You don't know exactly what all these settings are. And on this page that we're scrolling through right now, it goes step by step so you can make sure everything happened. But I can tell you, everything worked out fine. You've seen that when we were putting it on there. There was no red flags. But there is a couple other settings that they mention in here. And it deals with your Expo. Now, Patrick Clark, the one that wrote this up, he doesn't use any Expo. And as you see, like on here, there's also a rate limit. If you're running gold motors or if you're running plaid motors, there's a couple settings that change in there. I'm running the plaid motors, as you've seen. And right here, we got 20 to 30% Expo. I think 30% is a little bit too much myself. I kind of agree with the 20%. So we'll go over here to Expo. Now it's going to be, for 20%, you want 0.20. For 30%, 0.30. For 0, just keep them all zeros. So you hit save. And that was for rate profile 3. Now we're going to rate profile 1, which is now your acro mode. It's different from what version 3 was. Let's see, rate profile 1 is acro mode. It's showing you that right at the top there. I myself like a 10% Expo in that. Just a small smidge, but it seems to ease things up a little bit for when you do want to hover. Now, if you look at the top of my screen, I have 3.75 volts. and it's telling me that my battery's dying. There was I'm not sure why this wasn't added in to the program. I'm going to show you guys how to fix that in a bit. Go back to, well, let's see, where do I want to go? Okay, it's not wanting to change, so I'm going to disconnect so we can make sure everything's saved. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of this Betaflight. Wish everything was KISS. KISS GUI is so much easier. Anyhow, go back into tuning, make sure that everything saved. So, because there was that little bit of an issue going on there. And of course, my expo is still at 10. And my expo for rate profile 3 is still at 20. So yeah, we can be pretty confident everything's still there. Check my modes, make sure. Always want to recheck. You don't want to find out when you start flying the thing and it flies away from you. So, okay. Now we're back in setup. Go to our ports. UART1 is still used. Configuration. We want to make sure that we're brushed. 25,000. Motors reversed. We're good there. Power and battery. This is where we set up that power thing. So this is how they have it set up. I don't understand where maximum cell voltage of 1 is. I don't understand how that happened. Or minimum 0.28. If you do that, you killed your battery. There's no more trying to use it. Just throw it away. Oh, better yet, go online and get yourself one of those battery killers. I have one that from Race Day Quads. It'll kill the battery for you all the way down to 0, then throw it away. But as you see, we got 2.95, 4.35, and 3.1 for our voltages. The capacity is still good, 250, and that'll give you a little bit of a warning. And as you see, all of a sudden at the top there, the battery is green. We're doing good. So we got that problem fixed. And then we go into the receiver, make sure everything's centered out. Now I do not have my Taranis hooked up to it. That's just basic settings. Things will change with the Taranis, and we'll go over the Taranis later. So we go to OSD. And as you see, it says Mockingbird 4. That's your giveaway that you actually did it correctly. I'm not happy with Mockingbird 4. I'm going to change that. But there's a couple other things I want to add to this window. And you put your cursor over top of low voltage here, because it changes all the time. Every version, it seems to change where they put new things. 4.06 actually puts it in the very center. I didn't realize that. 4.05 was down at the bottom where low voltage was. Just move it off to the side, get it out of the way, so that way you're not over top of something, because then you won't see it. So I'm scrolling up. I want to know my battery current, milliamp draw. That pulls that up. See, it pulls up in the center in this version. And then we just put it up in the corner, kind of even with the other one on the other side, and it looks decent, right? Everything's out of your way. Don't worry about the numbers that's on there. They're wrong. They're set up for a different system. Let me scroll back down. Take a look out over, over anything that you may want to click on that you want operated. Everybody's different on what they want. I don't want a lot of stuff. I don't have a use for a lot of stuff, especially on these micro drones. You don't need a lot of stuff going on. I do want my battery warning on though. I'm just looking over everything, making sure it's right. And we want to hit save. And yes, I know the low voltage is in the wrong spot. We're going to be going back to that. I'll show you why we had to get out of there. So under configuration, personalization, you have Mockingbird 4. That's where that title comes from. I'm going to add a V to it. Picky, I know. Hit save. Go back to the OSD. And this will tell you if everything's right. See? Mockingbird version 4. Then we take the low voltage. Try and get that thing centered. And as you know, there is no automatic centering. So you kind of have to play with it, and not all the time can you get everything perfectly centered right. So you just kind of play with stuff and see what looks best. I'm just gonna leave it to where it was. It's one character off from being able to make everything center. Save. Disconnect. Close. And that's about it. We're good to go. Next on the list will be to program your Tyrannus, get your endpoints correct, and get everything set up on your Tyrannus to operate correctly. That'll be in the next video. Enjoy.